Assalamualaikum everyone. I have a few questions for you guys. Have you ever heard about problems regarding genders in Malaysia?
Yeah, I heard it in my social media.
Yes, me too. I think it's not only in just Malaysia. I think it's a global issue.
Yeah.
Basically, from your point of view, do you think this gender problem is affecting the whole society or not?
Yes.
Yes, of course. And I think the reason why this gender stratification happens because of the patriarchy. So basically, patriarchy is a social system that has shaped that is influencing aspect of our day. So it's just patriarchy is actually refers to a structure which a man holds more power than a woman. Okay. So they dominate all of the roles such as the leadership, political leadership, moral authorities, social privilege, and control of the property. Okay. So and the thing which make the patriarchy dominate in this world is the man itself. Okay, so men are often seen as a head of families and the leaders in the communities. So, like for example, and this is happened in my family, everything has to be my father. Everything, any like every like every if you want to for any confirmation, you have to ask my father first.
So you want to say that every decision in your family is made by your father?
Yeah, every decision has to be confirmed by my father. So not only by that, the gender roles are also one of the thing that which in this today will happen. The patriarchy in this today's world happen. Okay. So the men or women, based on traditional views, men are tend to be more masculine and the female meant to be more feminine. Okay. So these things has been happened from long time ago, where men are often expected to be the breadwinners, while the females are tend to do all of the housework. Okay. So these things limits both of the gender to freely explore the thing that they want to do. So I think that is my point of view about what's happening today. This problem happening today. So what do you think, Adrian?
I think based on what I said, patriarchy is actually one of the big examples of one of the reasons of the gender problems that is happening in our world right now. So because of patriarchy, there is a big impact on our society and on the whole world also. So based on my research, a few days ago during my free time, I found out that patriarchy can impact the family structure. Why? First of all, in a patriarchal family, the man holds the power to the decision, just like you said. So first of all, in the control of reproductive rights, they can decide whether they want how many family members, about abortion, about birth control, but that is something that's been burdened to the woman, such as the woman is the one that carries the child, but the decision is but the decision making is held by the man. So let's say I had many cases that a woman dies because she bears too many children, like 7 children, 8 children, and even more than 10. She dies because the man want a lot of child. And secondly, in a patriarchal family, the father is expected to become a provider, to become a disciplinarist. And for these issues, I want to give examples to my own family. In my family, my father is not the main source of income, whereas my mother's income is more than my father. So my mother is the main breadwinner of my family. So that collide with the patriarchal mindset that says a man must be the provider, a man must be the main source of income of the family. So we can see that traditional way of thinking is the way that patriarchal family use in their family system. Okay. And secondly, from my research, I see that culture and media representation affects patriarchy in a very big ways. First of all, for the media representation, for example, like in movies, in drama, they always say that men doesn't have the rights to cry. Do you agree?
Well, not really.
What about you, Irma? Do you agree that men can cry at all?
Men can cry because it's a way to show emotions. Like we are all human beings, so we have to cry sometimes.
Yes, and this patriarchy doesn't only affect women but also affect men also, which makes men should have an image that they are strong. They are strong. They can be broken down. They can be weak, basically. So, but in culture and media representation, for women's side, they saw women as object for male pleasure, as an object that could bear children, to produce children, and this is a very harmful mindset to everyone, especially men, because this can corrupt our society. How about you, Irma?
I agree with both of your points. So personally, I think even though like patriarchy has become a norm nowadays, it sure has like its own impacts. The impacts are very widespread and affect various aspects of society, individuals, and even institutions. Patriarchy can lead to lots of inequality. It is limiting access to resources, opportunities, decision making, power for women. As an example, women used to have fewer wage pay than men. Though it's not like, thankfully it's not like the gap is not existent now, but in some cases there are. Men are much more expected to be a leader, like you said. Because most common reason for that is because they think that women are too emotional. Which is I don't get why, because personally I've seen like the news, I've seen how like men act when they're angry. Like, do you agree?
I think that is really messed up mindset from our current society, because I think men can actually handle their emotion well, especially when they are angry.
I don't think so. Like because like for example, like, I've seen you guys like throwing a head up when like your team in sport loses. Like I've seen like a lot of cases in that, but they don't take that as like an emotion. Just because they are angry, they don't like take account for that. For me, personal opinion.
I understand about that.
So other than that, patriarchy, there used to be an educational barrier for women. I've read somewhere from UNICEF, like a day before, there are multiple barriers for this issue, like poverty, child marriage, and gender-based violence. Like poor families often favor boys when investing in education. Like they don't care about their daughters, they tend to put up their like sons to school. In some places, schools do not meet the safety, hygiene, or sanitation needed for girls. So the other impact of patriarchy is that it dictates how men and women should behave. For instance, women should be staying in the kitchen, should clean up after the whole family, even though they have cooking for them for hours and hours. Women should be the only caregiver to the children and not the men. They are taught they are taught that ever since they were children, because they've grown up with that kind of family. Since it has become the norm, most families nowadays are using that norm. It is really upsetting for me to see their husband not helping their wives. They cannot explore to be themselves. They all have like higher potentials to be more than just staying at the kitchen, but their potentials are wasted for me. That's my opinion.
Based on what all of us have shared, so we can see that this patriarchy is taken based back then from the old times, based on our history, and is taken as norms nowadays. But there is a few communities that reject patriarchy, and nowadays, bit by bit, we can see that patriarchy is being lowered and being reduced day by day. For example, our former Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir, he also said that the possibility of a woman becoming a Prime Minister is not impossible. It is possible, but it should take a little bit of time. So based on that, even our highest authority in the country says that means the power of patriarchy, the norms is being cancelled and is being reduced by day.
Yes, Adrian. And I hope these problems could be solved in the future generation. And I think the patriarchy is kind of I have heard that another term that is maybe similar to patriarchy, which is called sexism, but it's not the same as patriarchy. So basically, sexism is when people treated unfairly because of their gender. Okay, this happens a lot in our society and affect both of men and women, but often impact on women. Okay, so like sexism can be happen on just me like
Happen all the time.
I mean, this sexism can be happen face to face and can be happen
Online.
hidden online.
Okay.
And sometimes it can be clear, sometimes it can be hidden. Like when someone says women are good as a man at a certain jobs. Other times it's subtle, like assuming women should do all the housework. These attitudes comes from old ideas that men should have more power or opportunities than women. So that's like in the history context of sexism, okay, society was built in a way that gave men more power. Even though we have made the progress, those ideas still affect us today. It's like there's two types of sexism. One is overt sexism and the second one is a subtle sexism. So for overt sexism is an open discrimination, like saying women cannot do jobs, while the subtle sexism is like it's an everyday actions which the assumption that can harm women. So like for example, the women cannot be paid equal just like the men, and so like men get paid higher than a woman because the woman is a woman, and it also pressures men to always be strong or in control, which can be harmful too. Okay. Maybe that's all from me. So, do you guys have any ideas about sexism?
I've read this one term of sexism, which is benevolent sexism. Benevolent sexism refers to attitudes seem positive into. For example, women should be like cherished and protected by men. Benevolent sexism includes views and behaviors that frame women as innocent, pure, caring, nurturing, fragile, and in need of protection. But even though benevolent sexism applies some positive traits to women and femininity, it still frames one sex or gender as weaker than other. So maybe it's not really clear. So I'll give out some examples. For example, basing women's value as just her role as being a mother, a wife, or girlfriend, just that, not as a human being, only for their role. And then focusing attention and praise on someone's appearance rather than their other attributes. Next example is that believing that people should not do things for themselves, such as manage money or drive a car just because of their gender. So like I've heard like people said that women are like not really don't really know how to manage their money, things like that. And then the last example is that assuming that a person is a nurse, is an assistant or secretary, and not a doctor, an executive or manager based on the gender. Because like when they wanna state that a woman is like a doctor, they always say like a female doctor, a female magician, a female mechanic. Like if the roles are reversed, like people would be saying like male nurse, male doctor, it would be like very weird. Like why would you put the female word in front?
Actually, it's correct statement because, for example, like mechanics, if someone says my daughter is a mechanic or I'm a woman, I'm a mechanic, and then we say, oh, a woman mechanics, that's weird.
Yeah. So I think that's really key. Like everyone can be everything. Yeah. This nowadays. So other than benevolent sexism, there's also this term ambivalent sexism, which is a mix of benevolent and hostile sexism. It seems that people who engage in ambivalent sexism may vary between seeing women as good, pure, and innocent, and also seeing them as like manipulative or deceitful depending on their situation. So one of the examples is like they like differentiating between good women and bad women based on how they dress. So are there opinions?
So based on the types of sexism that Irma just mentioned earlier, it is actually taken, and there is another type of sexism that is being practiced all around the world. One of them is institutional sexism, which is a sexism that is embedded in organizations and institutions. It is included in, for example, the government, the legal system, the education, healthcare, and even in workplaces. I will give an example. In the government, sexism is being practiced, such as in the government. For example, in Malaysia, there is a seat for female politicians, but there is not a lot of them. The majority of the seats and the authority over the country, over the government, is being held by men. Another example is in the US. But in the US, we can see that this type of sexism is a little bit weaker than in our country. Such as we can see that Kamala Harris, she is fighting for the spot of the president of the United States. So we can see that the sexism in America is a little bit weaker in Malaysia. And in other things, in workplaces, we can see that a lot of CEOs, the founder, is a man. There is a CEO, there is a woman CEO, but we rarely see them. Let's say the biggest company in the world, Facebook, and let's say TikTok, and other big like banks or something like that, we can see most of them is being manipulated by men. So based on that, we can see that the institutional sexism is existed in our society, in our world. Secondly, there is interpersonal sexism. So interpersonal sexism is the sexism that is manifested during interaction between others. Let's say you are a man, right?
Yeah.
You are talking to a girl, but she acts like a man. What would you say to her?
Well, I think I'm just going to say that to be more feminine, because women tend to be more feminine.
Yes, there is actually a type of sexism which tells women that they should be what they are stated to be. They should be weak, they should be feminine, they should be just like that. Other than that, I think another is that, for example, us boys, men, if we do something, we will justify that something as correct if we do it wrong by saying that boys will be boys, men will do men. For example, we are fighting, and then a woman comes and say, you shouldn't be fighting, and then they will say, this is men's thing, this is how we do our things. So this kind of mindset, I think, is very messed up, and it should be changed for the sake of our nation and the world also.
I also want to add to that. So this trend when people say that I'm just a girl, like things like that. Or like a woman will be like do something and then will just be an excuse by saying that I am just a girl. It's like a joke, but like I've seen like some men be like mad at that. But like some women counter to that by saying like we've been hearing the phrase boys will be boys in our whole entire life. Why would like they did not understand that? Like the men did not like what I say.
So let's just say that if the boys do it, it's okay.
Yeah.
But once the girls do it,
Yes.
it becomes wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so other than sexism and patriarchy that we've just discussed just now, there's other key point to gender stratification, which is LGBTQ. So as we know, LGBTQ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with the L in the LGBTQ, which is lesbian. I'm pretty sure both of you know what a lesbian person is. It's related to or characterized by sexual or romantic attraction to other women. Typically, one of them will be like more masculine, and typically one of them will be more feminine.
So they are both girls,
Yes.
but both of them have their masculine and feminine side. Right?
Yes, like the one of them will be like the man of the relationship.
One of them are going to be a man and one of them are going to be a girl, but they are both girls.
Yes.
Oh, alright.
Okay, so do you know like the flag of the lesbian community?
Wait, rainbow flag?
No, it's actually like the orange pink flag.
Orange and pink.
Orange, pink.
Like each color has its own meaning. For example, like dark orange stands for gender and non-conformity, and like dusty pink and dark rose stands for feminine. So other than that, G stands for
Gay.
yes. So as we know, gay is when a person is sexually or romantically attracted to people of one's own sex, used typically for men. So there's this term on TikTok that I saw, and they put the hashtag in the video, which is MLM.
What is MLM stand for?
MLM means like men loving men. So like they put the hashtag in so that people know that they are gay.
I have a question. Okay, in our own country, there is we can say like a stereotype that says a man that has a feminine side to them is gay. But you say that in a relationship between this gay and lesbian, they are lesbian person, there is one that is feminine and one that is masculine. So what if we say that someone is gay because they are feminine? Are they actually gay or
No,
just stereotype?
because like LGBTQ is like sexual orientation, not because of their like personality. So if like there happens to be like an LGBTQ community and they happen to be more masculine, so that's why they're like in the relationship they become the masculine one.
So like gay and the lesbian is the sexually oriented, like they are sexually attracted to the same gender.
Yes.
So if the boys have a feminine side, that doesn't mean that he's gay.
Yeah.
Then and the boys could be like a woman.
Yeah.
Then,
But they just on the soft
then
text.
they just best soft.
But Irma, do you know, you just said that lesbian and gay, but those two can be combined to make one that is called homosexual.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, homosexual is a clinical term that describes a person who is attracted to a person with the same sex, and that is gay and lesbian. They are attracted to men attracted to men, and female attracted to men, female. So other than that, there is bisexual. So bisexual is a term that describes someone who is attracted to both genders. It's Rafiq, that's an example.
Right.
You are a man, you like me, but you also like Irma. Again, that's an example. So there is example of bisexual. He or she is attracted to both genders. Let's say L, G, B for bisexual.
Then we have
T, do you know what it stands for?
Well, I think it's for transgender. Yes, transgender. So, do you have any idea what is transgender?
I've heard about transgender before. I think it was about something that person changed from the original gender. Yeah.
Well, I just searched the Google just now. The transgender is actually an individuals who identify as a gender that they come from when they are born. So like if they are born as a girl, then change to if they are born as a boy and then change it to girl, this means they are transgender. Yes. So like I don't know how they can feel like they want to change. Well, transgenders can be done by surgery, can done by a treatment hormone such as therapy or surgeries, but not all of the countries have a service like that, and it is can be very costly. Yeah. So this happens because of the social media maybe trend, something like that, and the transgender could like the transgender individual could change their appearance from a man to a woman. Okay, and we as people as cisgender, if we see a woman, okay,
Santri ini. Betul skip dalam diri, lama tak ada. Terus skip dalam diri.
number dia.
Yang berdiri.
So if the transgender is about changing gender, while non-binary is a gender that identity that doesn't fit within the traditional categories for male or female. Okay? So like the non-binary may feel their gender is a mix of both or neither of them, or maybe just the thing they are different from male and female. It's like pronunciation of the non-binary could be they, them, or maybe Caesar or others pronunciations.
Caesar.
Yeah.
Caesar is like neo pronouns, I think.
Yeah, it's a new pronouns that I don't know, I just found it essentially that it might not conform to societal expectation of gender representation, right?
So everyone,
well,
tahi ya.
Conclude.
so like,
Cukup.
so like I think the challenge of the transgender is they have always to face discrimination.
Not only transgender,
Yeah, not
the
only-
whole
The whole of the LGBTQ community have to face discriminations, healthcare barriers, because they are 10 more that have HIV virus, okay? And like their legal recognitions, like they have to change their gender for their identity card. Yes.
Okay, so basically, based on all the gender certification things that we talked earlier, like patriarchy, sexism, LGBTQ, we can see that our world is moving in a very rapid pace. But I think it is based on our own to decide whether it is a good change or a bad change. So we, as a person, basically we, as a Muslim, should actually reject these things because it will be a bad seed in our society, and it should be prevented to make sure that our world can become a better place.
Yes, I agree with that. And we have to educate ourselves. Okay, we have to educate ourselves. We learn more about genders, but we have to like. Yes, we have to educate ourselves more about genders, and we have to have a self-control in ourselves, not only by the LGBTQ but also in the patriarchy and the sexism. Yes, we have to reduce that time of that things that kind of terms in today's life because things are changing rapidly. Okay, so different generation, different kind of thinking.
Okay, I think that concludes our meeting today. Thank you everyone for sharing your ideas and opinions. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Everyone.